Okay,
Okay, looks like we're in, right?
we're live. Yeah.
Okay, great, fantastic. Hey, Sandra.
Hi, everyone. So this is actually our first English version of our Spanish webinars, and we kind of are working on renaming it. So right now we're gonna, you're gonna. That's why you're seeing this logo here. It's called A Talk with Community Heroes, and that's because the reason of this actually is because we have done this in the Spanish webinars, and we realized that that's what we were doing. We were talking with community heroes, and we want to have more of them, and we want to empower the community and whoever's doing things outside. So this is the start of something, but we just wanted you to know that that's why we have this. So we have an amazing talk today with great speakers. We so we're gonna let you know who these persons are. So now we can get started, Wednesday.
Okay, good, fantastic. So we're gonna pull up the presentation, and for who, if you know anybody, the whole point of this webinars, or in this case, we're gonna call it a talk with community heroes. The whole point is to promote human rights and feature people that they're working on human rights in one way or another, usually nonprofit organizations. And so we interview them and we show the world what they're great people around. And so if, as we go through these webinars or talks, you think of somebody, you think, or even yourself, if you're working on activities that are nonprofit and related to human rights, let us know. So the webinar today is going to be protecting the human rights of young women. So to get started, let's go to a little presentation. First, thank you very much for being here, everybody here, and anybody who's going to be watching this later. The topics of these webinars are going to be, what are human rights? Then we're going to focus on human rights number 1. We are all born free and equal. Human rights 28, a fair and free world. And then we'll have special guests. We'll talk about solutions to protect the human rights of young women. To get started, we have my companion here, Sandra Moreno, Executive Director of Human Rights Tampa. A little bit about Sandra. She's leading education of human rights to over 10,000 people. Sandra has been all over in many countries, let's say, Chile, Mexico, of course, United States. And through webinars, I think we've reached Europe, obviously South America, and many other places. If you let this woman, is going to conquer the world of education through human rights. And one thing we have in common is we have a passion for educating human rights. That's a picture of the first time we met at United. Was it here in Clearwater, right?
Yep.
So that's what we do. We get together and then we promote human rights for now through webinars online. And then we actually started doing also, Sandra has been doing it for a long time, but I started doing some workshops actually on human rights. So more about that later.
So thank you so much, Wednesday, and obviously it's great to have you here in another talk now in English. So we hope everything is it should all work good for us. So Wednesday is actually he's an entrepreneur, a business coach, and he has trained more than 5,000 entrepreneurs for the last 10 years. So this is what his expertise is. He's very knowledgeable in admin. So he's bringing all that knowledge to educate other people on human rights. So it has been a great journey, right? I think we have been almost right now. I would say it's almost 2 years. It's been quite long. I'm like, oh my god, we need an anniversary.
No, I get the I get on Facebook or social media. I get the pictures from the prior webinars. I was like, oh, it's been almost 2 years. So it doesn't feel like it, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, as always, in any of these presentations or webinars, we the 3 points we want to emphasize are ask, comment, and share. And then, why do we want to do that, Sandra?
Well, because these webinars are for the people that are watching this. So if you have any questions to the people that we are interviewing or to us, you can always ask us and comment in the live that you're seeing. Also share, because when you share, other people get to see and meet this amazing guest that we have. So that's always something that we really encourage you to do. And that's part of why we do it on social media, so that other people can find us. So basically that.
Good. And the way social media works is the more interaction with all the posts, the better. So if you like, you make comments or even share, that also helps to reach more people. So that's another reason why it's important. All right, so we're gonna get started, and let's start with some definitions. The first part, since this is a human right talk, then we're gonna define human rights. So what are human rights? First is the definition of human, which is a member of the Homo sapiens species, a man, woman, a child, basically a person. Any person is a human. Definition of rights: things to which you are entitled or allowed, freedoms that are guaranteed. So when we put those two together, we have that human rights are um, the rights you have simply because you're a human. Human rights are based on the principle of respect for the individual. That's a key word. So I put it down there as the definition of respect is due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. It does not mean you have to agree, but it does mean that you have due regard for those things, right? So their fundamental assumption is that each person is a moral and rational being who deserves to be treated with dignity. And dignity, again, is the state of quality of being worthy of honor or respect. So it's essential to know that, because all the human rights work together. You can't take them separately, correct, Sandra?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it definitely, like, one of the things very important is that, I mean, respecting other people, their differences, and then we actually have a comment from Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. She's saying that human rights are a hot topic and have never been more important to our happiness. And then that's exactly one of the points that we think it's very important. When people don't know their human rights, it's more likely that human rights are violated. So respecting other people's point of views and differences is very important to actually protect human rights also.
Exactly. Okay, good. So they're called human rights because they're universal. Whereas nations or specialized groups enjoy specific rights that apply only to them, human rights are the rights to which everyone is entitled, no matter who they are or where they live, simply because they are alive. So there's a correlation between be, do, and have, which my friend Sandra here is really good at explaining. So what does human rights have to do with be, do, and have, Sandra?
Yeah, so we basically talk about you mentioned that the rights are alignable to, like, they're a part of the person, right? And one of the things important about people and how they live their life is that they basically can be things, right? They can do things and they can also have things. So when we talk about that, it kind of just an example of why I'm saying this. Like, we can be different things in our life. We can be professionals. We can be mothers, fathers. You can be speakers, etc. And then you can also decide to do things, like you can go on vacation, or you can like to play a little bit, like football or something that you really like. Those are things that you want to do. And then other things that you want to have is probably you want to, some people like to have, like, obviously a cell phone, a computer, your house, your car, etc. So in all of your life, you're making decisions to actually be, to, and have things. So human rights are involved in all of those decisions that you make, and it protects you in that decisions, because they're part of that. They're part of your life as a human being, basically.
Perfect. Good. So we're going to show two short videos regarding the two human rights we're going to be featuring. The first one is human right number one. We are all born free and equal.
Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Good. So then we have the next one, which is human right number 28, which is a fair and free world.
The world I see is fair and free, where people can travel wherever they please, and children can eat and have shoes on their feet, and not be afraid when they walk on the street. It's not like there has to be rainbows and bunnies, or streets full of people all dancing like dummies, but freedom to live, to learn, and to play, to just be yourself and think your own way. The road I see may sound crazy to you, but hopefully, someday, you'll see it too.
Okay, good. So the reason we show these little videos at the beginning in every one of these talks or webinars is because they have to do with who we're bringing as a speaker or guests. So in this case, who do we have? Who is the guest?
Yeah, and one of the reasons that like we chose this one specifically, and the first one is because related to equal opportunities. Because sometimes people think that equal means that you have to be the same, but it's actually that you have just because you're human, you have the same equal opportunities. Like to be in a school, to be like in a workspace, etc. So there's different opportunities in all the decisions that we make that we should all have that same equal opportunities, right? If we have the same skills, the same abilities, we should have the same equal opportunity to apply for a job, for example, and have the same equal salary for that same job if we have the same skills and abilities to do so, right? So this organization that we wanted to invite them and be a guest here at our talk is an organization that does exactly that. So it's called She Helps to Empower, and it's an organization that helps young women to empower, and I feel that they create equal opportunities for them. So we want to bring the guests in so that you guys can actually know them and you can probably get a sense of what I'm telling you. So Tranette Engram is a versed trainer. She has worked in different activities, fundraising, giving grants to community, helping in fundraising. Basically, she's a program promoter. She's an advocate and foster parent. She's the founder and president of She Helps to Empower. And she also participates in several other nonprofits like Miracle Outreach, Bridging Freedom, the Macri House Inc. So these are organizations that work with young women and especially with human trafficking. But we are going to interview her relating to specifically this organization that she's the founder of, and it's called She Helps to Empower. So we actually had an issue. She had a personal urgent issue that she had to manage. So we have two representatives here for to talk on behalf of her. One is Daniel Schaffman. He's the vice president of She Helps to Empower. He's a former chief Garant officer of the U.S. Army and IT network manager. And Felicia Romano, she's actually the public relations of She Helps to Empower. So I'm going to bring them here so you guys can know them. Hi guys, welcome to our talk.
Hey, how y'all
Hello,
doing?
guys. How are you?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
How's it
Good,
going?
fantastic. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having
Thank you
us.
for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank you for representing She Helps to Empower. We really want to know what this organization does, how you guys are empowering young women. So it's a really honor to have you guys today. You guys have been, and Tranette has been working really hard in the community, and you guys probably know a lot about that. So tell us, if any of you guys can tell us a little bit how she actually had started in the community as an advocate, how she got started.
So, Daniel, shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead, please. You can start.
So when I first met Tranette, she was helping a nonprofit organization support modeling and mentoring for young men in schools. And at that point, she was volunteering. So that was maybe 14 years ago. And you could see that she was actively, engaged with this organization, and that her primary concern was, to uplift the community and give, resources, get connected to resources and programs that would allow these organizations to be stronger. So if you have an organization basically that's doing one focus, let's say boys in this case, but you could go and you can get some supports and you realize that, wait a minute, we're missing an entire population of girls that could probably use the same thing. How can we impact them? That was Tranette. She was ready to say, we need to have these same types of mentors and programs touching young girls as well. And so that's kind of where it started. And I was volunteering within an elementary school within a community that was looking for community partners. So we actually worked together when volunteering to create an event, and that's how I met her. She has not stopped since.
That is very cool. What just so we can have a little bit of a big picture. When did you guys started, and when did you start the organization? How long ago? More or less.
12 years.
12 years. Okay, good. So it's been some time. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Good. So so for anybody listening, so She Helps to Empower is an organization that is creating opportunities towards education, housing, and jobs to young ladies that age out of the foster care system. Now, tell us a little bit more about the mission and why the organization decided to start, or why this foundation was started.
Yeah, so basically the mission is to kind of what you said in your introduction there, is to empower young ladies to be successful when they age out of the foster care system. We have so many young ladies that come out up through the foster care system, and they're forced out at the age of 18 with nowhere to go, with no skills, as you know, no knowledge on how to even maybe apply for a job, where to even go, where their next meal is going to come from. So we help these young ladies build resumes, train them into understanding how it's going to be budgeting, teaching the skills that they don't teach here in schools, like budgeting a bank account, like how to budget money. The simple things that you and I take for granted. These children, and I call them children because at 18 years old they come out as children. They really do. They're considered adults, but they haven't been taught the things that you need to understand as an adult and how to operate in this world today. So we provide them knowledge and skills that will make them successful. And we build their confidence level up. We build their self-confidence level up. Because if they have no confidence going out to the world, they're going to be timid. They're going to be scared of what's going on and how to even interact with other individuals, because they've come up through a foster care system. Not everybody has come up through.
Yeah.
So they were already put at a disadvantage by being in a foster care system, not having maybe two parents or a solid family foundation that that we take for granted. So that's what we're here to do, and we do that, and we're successful. I mean, I've been doing, advocating for young ladies for a long time. I'm in the prior military, retired military. Human rights, I fought for those.
Yes.
So I truly understand human rights across the world, not just in the United States, across the world, because I've been in several different countries.
Yeah.
And even been involved in foster care organizations in other countries. For instance, South Korea. So I've have a diverse background in dealing with foster care children across the globe.
Yeah, makes sense. I have this. I'm going to ask you this question just because I'm not familiar with it, and it's very interesting to know that. So coming out of the foster care system, so they become 18 years old, and then what happened at 18?
So go ahead,
okay.
Felicia. Go ahead.
So you can explain that. Yeah, you're the expert in the foster care.
So what happens is basically it's real simple. At the age of 18, the here in the state of Florida, for instance, since we live in Tampa, Florida, what happens is once they hit the age of 18, all services and support stop. They could be in the middle of high school at age 18, and the system will drop them out. They will be dropped out of the system. So they could be going to school in February. They turn 18. They don't graduate until June. The system support stops in February. Wow. So here we are putting young ladies out on this, basically to fend for themselves, and they haven't even graduated high school yet.
Yeah.
There's a systematic failure in our system in the world today with that. That we're throwing these young ladies out on the street, basically, if you think about it, and saying, okay, well, we supported you for 18 years, but now you're 18 years old in one day, and we no longer can help you. We no longer provide that housing. We no longer provide the subsidized food that you get. They no longer provide that to them.
Yeah.
So that's where we want to step in. We want to step in to do that.
Yeah,
so
that's
if you look
amazing.
if you look at it, it's approximately 26,000 youth every year that ages out of the system, and so that means that they're cut off from support, guardianship, resources, and how about this? Caring adult support and care.
Yeah.
Like nurturing care. I mean, we can talk about systems and all of these things that are in place, but we're talking about guidance. And this isn't just for girls, right? It's for girls and boys. This program happens to be for girls, but this happens to both girls and boys. And there's this, so equal human rights, equal opportunity for them to all be treated the same way once they're cut off. And once they are cut off, we hope that while they're in the system, that they've been nurtured, that they've been taught, that they understand financial literacy, that they've been preparing for independency, that they've been preparing for self-advocacy. But we know all too well that that doesn't happen. And so that's why She Helps to Empower is so unique, because even while there are organizations that work with foster care systems and group homes that are in place right now supporting youth while they're still under an umbrella of care, they have like a 12-week program and some longer, 6-month programs that actually help youth transition so that when they come out, they're looking at even entrepreneurship. They're looking at, education as what is my path, and then how do you do it? But now they know because they've been given the tools. They're looking at financial literacy. How do I prepare myself for living on my own? Whether they're renting with someone else, sharing in shared living space, or getting their own apartment because they've worked for that. But there has to be this kind of structure and support designed for that, and that's why this organization exists, because there was a huge gap, and there still is. I mean, you can only do so much, but there's a huge gap from where the cutoff happened and then where people can stay connected with youth that are engaged already and not kind of dispersed and lost and looking. And how will they find, like a She Helps to Empower, if not for us being within the community and active in schools, in, churches, or in community events, so that they can see that there is something there.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's amazing, guys, because like you guys are also raising awareness in like a very particular topic that maybe a lot of people don't even know or realize is happening, and as you guys are saying, it's like an issue that it hasn't been solved. Like, how can somebody just have no resources, like in the middle of school or something like that? Like that's how you literally can have homelessness, right? Exactly, because like he doesn't have anywhere to go. So that's amazing what you guys are actually doing. And can you guys tell us how you achieve this purpose? Like, what is the work that you guys do with them? I know that Daniel talked a little bit about the details. Like, you guys have like an amount of people that are working in the organization that can kind of be a coach for them, or how does it work basically? Or how do you contact the girls, right? Because that's the other piece. How do you get to actually reach them so that you can help them?
That's the part where Tranette is like just like a superstar, because she actually volunteers or works with, like you stated, Miracles Outreach. She works with Bridging Freedom. She works with organizations that are actually helping rescue girls, that are helping girls that are in foster care, girls that were maybe previously victimized in human trafficking. And she gets to work with them directly. She's also a foster mom, so it's not like she doesn't understand the system from, actually learning what would it take to be a foster parent. What kind of training do you need? What kind of certification? Kind of mindset, right? Because not everyone is built for that. Not everyone can say, I'm going to open my doors, welcome a child who may have experienced trauma into my home, and, parent them and love on them, and nurture them, and help them get equipped to make decisions for themselves, to create self-agency and advocacy and understand their human rights, right? Really wholeheartedly. So the program is really structured in that way. So it's not only in what to do when you're supporting, right? How to strengthen the programs that exist that support youth that are in a program already, but also a program that is designed to cover agency, self-advocacy, financial literacy, and it's a training curriculum that she has. And with that, in that actual employability skills and life skills training program, she does the workshops effectively with group homes already. That's through the collaboratives and partnerships that she's built. And then, of course, on her own with the events that occur as well.
Makes sense. I know you guys have done a lot of work with United for Human Rights, which, for those who don't know, it's the purpose of United for Human Rights is basically make all the 30 human rights, make people aware of it's an educational program. So what got you interested in using, working together with United for Human Rights?
You want to respond, Daniel, or
Sure. I mean, I can respond. For me, personally, it goes back to my military days. Seeing different worlds and different countries and that diversity of not only different cultures, but just different people and interacting with these people. and not just so much from a military perspective, but from a personal level, from a personal perspective. Talking with these individuals, whether it be parents or kids, you know, and understanding that, you know, they may live in a different country, but they all want to have the same freedoms that we do, that we experience. And if you talk to individuals in countries that are less fortunate than others, you get to begin to appreciate where you came from and where you live. Um, and so for me, that's where it started for me. And like I said, back early when I maybe in my teen years, at the end of it, I joined the military when I was 18. So I was still a kid. Um, but I got to see things that, you know, in different countries and different people, and interact with kids, you know, that weren't much younger than me at the time. Maybe 15, 16 years old, and see how they live and see how they grew up. And understand that they didn't have the same rights that I did, and they weren't living as free as I did. So that kind of was an eye opener for me. So that's where it began for me.
I think with that, thank you. Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing to see that firsthand perspective in different cultures and different people, even beyond the U.S. And I know that Tranette decided to incorporate human rights in all of her events, right? Because first of all, you showed the videos right in the beginning, right? It's like, it's not just something that kind of reminds you, but it allows you to look and go, wait a second, I need to have that conversation. I didn't even know that there were more. You kind of assume that you know what all the human rights are and that they're all recognized everywhere until you actually learn there's more than 3, right? There's 31.
Right.
You know?
30. There's 30.
There's 30, 30. Right? So like if you look and you go, wait, there's 30 or there's 30, but that have been identified, and that, you know, like there's a shared consensus that, hey, these are human rights that everyone should have equally. Then it's a great foundation for communicating with everyone, because it isn't something that you're trying to think of or come up with, right? That's new. It doesn't allow you to think of something that excludes anyone. It's inclusive, and it's a foundation that allows people to understand how, right, to advocate for themselves, when to advocate for themselves. They can recognize that through these, you know, human rights, when they're being victimized, when someone is, you know, really just trampling their human rights. And it isn't something that it's like a new fad, you know, we don't see it come and go. These are just the basic human rights. And I love that video that you guys have where you go all the way back. And it's like even before the Greeks took over, you know, it's like you give you the history of, you know, why this was so important for people to understand that they had to have something that was common to stand on, that represented all of our human rights. So you see this when Tranette has events, which she helps to empower. She's always giving out information, pamphlets, booklets, discussions. It's part of the training and curriculum. She's just adopted it, and it is a fundamental foundation with how we train. And that's what.
And I think it's amazing because a lot of, I mean, if you think about it, I wasn't told that when I was 18, right?
Yeah.
I learned them way later, right? You can see the problems,
right,
and you recognize them, and you go, oh, there's something that should be done about this. And but I think it's amazing that you guys adopted this as a basically as a program, combining those programs so that, you know, with everything you guys do to help them, they also know the importance of human rights. So, you know, well done to you guys for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because also, like as you mentioned, right? We saw the video. We showed one of the videos because we only showed two, right? So we
Yes.
showed one of them. Human right number one. We're all born free and equal. And I want you guys. I know I mentioned a little bit about it when I presented to you, but can you guys like expand that a little bit more? How do you guys feel that your organization protects this right through this in your activities, that what you're doing basically?
Like I mentioned, with the human rights, this is it's more than just reading them. It is embedded within our culture, within our community, and within our structure. And we recognize this, especially in the fact that she helps to empower and foster for success and Halo are serving um, also victims of trafficking. So when you think about people who have, no rights, living under servitude, um, they can't speak for themselves. They cannot do what they want. Sometimes they're working and they cannot earn money for themselves. Someone is trampling over like nearly all of their human rights. So we are very adamant about incorporating this, making it knowledgeable, training, and helping others understand, how to give voice and how to speak for themselves and advocate for themselves using these fundamental human
Yeah, exactly. And it's very important also, since you guys also work a lot with human trafficking victims, or in this case, I know that the young women are very, you know, it, it's more suitable that they actually get trafficked because they're in a risk situation, right? So probably one of the situations that they can face is human trafficking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
one of the things that we have seen with this type of situations when somebody's human trafficking is that they didn't even know that they had human rights, and that was not allowed. um, Basically they had the right to live, they had the right to freedom to move, freedom to not be tortured, not to be slaves. So that involves, and we have done human rights seminars, human trafficking seminars, and that involves a lot of human rights violations, right? So
Right.
the idea of actually teaching them so that they actually know them beforehand, it's actually preventing for human rights violations to happen, right?
rights. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to, I want to say, I want to bring up is the fact that everybody live in their universe, and they have their problems in life, etc. But so taking the time and the effort to go out of your way to help others is a very commendable, a very noble action. So I want to bring it up. I want to tell you that I acknowledge the fact that that's amazing, right? So that let's start with that. And we also know that it's very fulfilling to do something for somebody else, right? So what would you guys tell somebody that is watching this webinar? What would you tell them about your experience of helping others, and the experience of helping others expecting nothing in return? So what does that mean to you?
Well, I can tell you, for me, it's very fulfilling to see people smile. And when you can bring a smile to someone's face because of an act that you did, and you're not expecting anything back from them, that's even a greater accomplishment in my viewpoint, because you're you're not only helping them with you know their attitude, and bringing a smile to their face, but they know that you're doing it without any action that they have to return a favor for you. And that's important, because a lot of the today is, it's goods and services, for instance. you know I'm buying a service or paying for a service, and you expect something in return.
Yeah.
We're
What's in for
here,
me? That kind of
right?
mentality.
What's in it for?
Me?
What's in it for me? And
Yes.
so here you have a situation where you're not expecting anything in return, and you can see the happiness and the fulfillment that you and the impact that you have on these individuals, when you bring a smile to their face. And you may not even know yourself that you think that you're doing a lot, but to them you are, because you're showing them that you care.
Yeah.
And that is, I tell you, that's an underestimation of a lot of people, that some people just want them to have someone to care about them,
Yeah.
to show that they care about them, that they're here and they exist on this earth for a reason, and there's a purpose in their life. And that's what we try to instill in these young ladies as well. There's a purpose and a reason you're here. We want to build your confidence level. We want to instill that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And we want to help you do that, and bring a smile to your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's amazing. I love it.
Alicia, you wanted to add something? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think for me, I think that the way that I see serving is, it's like a very natural thing for me. You see someone who needs help and you extend your hand and you help them. If you have it within your capacity to do something, whether it's helping someone cross the street, because they're not able to see, helping someone write a resume because you know that they deserve to have a better opportunity. They just don't have, the time, the energy, or the money to create that resume that will get them in the door, and doing it. Helping someone advocate for themselves and their health when they're losing benefits, and suddenly they can't pay for their medicine. I'm there, I'm writing letters, I'm there helping. But I think the most important thing is asking, can I help you? And really meaning it. Like, have you ever been asked by someone who said, can I help you? That really wanted to stick around and find out what you really needed so that you could be helped. One time I was at the gym, right? Years ago, and I tell you a story. I was at a gym. This was like at LA Fitness. And I was lifting up a 45-pound dumbbell to put on a rack because I was going to do squats, right? And I wanted to squat heavy, so I put like 225s, and I was putting, I went to grab another weight, and this big guy, he comes over and he says, can I help you? And he had a very heavy accent. And I was like, he goes, can I help you? And I said, what? And he's like, can I help you? And I said, I'm lifting weights. And he's like, can I help you? And I said, no, I know what I'm doing. No, right? The tone that he said it was like, can I help you? Like, really, you're going to do? I took it like some kind of attitude, because no one has ever asked me in the gym, can I help you? And he actually took the weight, put it on the rack for me. And he goes, when you're done, call me. I help you. And he walked away. And I went, he literally wanted to help me. And I didn't recognize that.
Right.
And that's when I learned that we really kind of don't ever get asked, can I help you, by someone who has the intention of helping. And it opened my eyes. And I said, we have to ask questions. And when we see people and we think we understand what they're going through, what they're experiencing, we don't. But if we ask questions and we're open, we can get the answers, and we may be able to help them ourselves or link them to support. But we have to first engage with them. And so I think the best way for anyone to decide, right, to serve in their community when they see a need is to ask questions. Ask the people, ask your neighbors, ask, community representatives, ask, the hierarchy with your civil servants, and ask questions. And then ask, how can I help? And that's the simple question, but it really, really has an impact. It can open
It
up
makes a
the
difference.
world to someone who feels like no one is listening to me, no one cares about me. If you just ask, can I help you? and mean it, then that's all you need. That's your start.
Perfect.
And also, I mean, just related to what what you're telling us about helping, right?
Yeah.
This is a question that we always ask in our seminars or webinars. So, but this is more like a personal question, right? So, obviously, both of you guys probably can say a story. So, we're gonna have you guys say a story. So we like because this is about connections, right? So we like for you guys to tell us like a little personal story that helping another person filled your heart, like you felt like super overwhelmed, like not just receiving it, now that you gave that help to another.
You want me to start, Felicia?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I was in Bosnia, Herzegovina. We were on a mission, peacekeeping mission there back in the 90s, if you remember, when the war was happening between the Serbians and the Croatians and the Bosnians. And we were on a remote hilltop out in the middle of nowhere on a mountainside. And there was about 7 or 8 kids that used to come up to the mountaintop and walk, and they walk from their homes and they'd walk about a quarter mile to a half a mile up to our site where we were at. And they were like hungry. You could tell these kids had not eaten. They were malnourished, all of them. And you know, us military guys, we used to have our MREs, the meals ready to eat. You probably heard of them before. They're not the greatest thing, tasting thing, but they were food.
Right.
And we would, you know, me and other soldiers would give them, sit down, and we would eat dinner with them. We would feed them, give our food to them, because we could see they were malnourished, and they weren't eating properly. And you know, they might have had, you know, a pair of shorts on, and that's it. Some of the kids just had undergarments on, and that was all. That's all they had. Their bare feet, you know, dirt all over them. But you know, when you see something like that, you can't do nothing but, if you have any type of heart at all, you could just sit there and you gotta do something. You just can't sit there and, you know, you're over here eating a meal and you see these young kids, and I'm talking kids that are like 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. I mean, they're walking, no parents, no guidance, no, you know, they're just walking up the side of a mountaintop. And it really is a satisfying feeling when you're being able to help these children, and even give them and bring a smile, like I said before, bring a smile to their face. You know,
Yeah.
you know, you'd be surprised what a Snicker bar would do to a 3 or 4-year-old kid,
Yeah.
in Bosnia. It's like they won the lotto, to them.
I believe it.
It's to them, and you know, and it builds relationships.
Yeah.
You know, it builds relationships down the road. When they see like different people coming from different countries helping them out, you know, it'll always instill in them that, you know what, you know, these guys over here, these Americans that came over here to help us, they actually were not too bad. They helped feed us, and they helped, you know, they were real nice to us, you know, and give them a different perception and outlook on life.
Absolutely. Now, at a personal level, how did that make you feel? How did you feel about
I
helping?
mean, for me, for me on a personal level, it was fulfilling to me.
Yes.
I felt like I did my good deed for the day, if you will. Um, it just fulfilled me, and you know, and it was not every day that they would come up, but they would come up quite often. Because like I said, and it would just feel good to know that you were making someone else happy. And, obviously, they're happy, they're being fulfilled. And they're probably running down and telling other kids because the crowd did grow after a while. So they were telling their friends,
Right.
say, hey, these guys up here, if we want some food, we know where to go. But it's fulfilling. It fulfills your heart. It really does.
Yeah.
To be able to help somebody like that, it's just something we take for granted. Like I said before, it's just not everybody has those same opportunities.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah. Felicia, you want to share anything? Any story?
So, um, I think that for me, I work with other nonprofits, right? So I think that a story that I'll never forget is this nonprofit organization has a shared living home for adults that have intellectual and cognitive challenges. And this woman is like a saint. She is so loving and nurturing. And when people think like, oh, I could do that, you have to deal with all kinds of personalities, angst, fears, addictions, and she's able to just deal with all these personalities, right? But she was saying that she wanted to have a new place, a home, so she could have more people that she could serve. And when we worked together, I didn't work with the population that she worked with directly, but what I did had an impact on that population because I was able to help her really identify what her business model was, right? Fast forward, she was donated a huge, brand new 6-bedroom house with a pool and, in a beautiful community, all new furniture because of the work that we had done.
Wow.
And when she told me about it, she said, 2 weeks before I was even offered this gift, you told me what I needed to have in place to make sure that my business was a business structure that people could understand. And we delivered that. And now look, and I was just like, wait, what? Like beautiful, like picturesque model home. And she could have more people have their own room in their new furniture in their new space. And she just can't stop raving about it. But when I saw that this happened, the only thing I could think of was like, wait a minute, I'm a part of that. Like I'm a part of that using my skill set. I didn't have the skill set to be in her position, right? I couldn't serve in that way, even though my heart is there, but in the way that I could. And that's when I really realized and know that whatever you have the capacity to do, you can use that. You can use that strength. You can use that skill, right? And so when I use, whether I'm helping people build new schools, which I have, or whether I'm helping, people create structures like we're doing, like she helps empower impacting women and girls. My heart is happy because I can stay in my lane, so to speak, helping to serve so that their vision really gets where it needs to be. And that to me is the most fulfilling thing ever. And I feel like we will never, ever, ever run out of opportunities to serve if we serve from where our strengths are and we're willing to be open to see where that will lead us. So, gotta ask questions. How can I help you?
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Very
and,
much.
and definitely
Very
everybody
much.
has like different experience helping other people, but each story is just amazing to hear because it,
Yeah,
it just feels like as you guys are saying, it fills your heart just to be able to help others and to know that you created an effect, right? A
yeah,
positive effect
yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
Thank you guys for sharing that. I think once he disconnected, we'll see if he comes back. So, but so a little bit about going back to you guys' organization that she helps to empower. Um, Tell us a little bit if you guys have any future projects that you're working on in the foundation. Like, what are the next projects that you guys have upcoming?
Yes, Daniel, tell us all about Halo and Foster for
Yeah,
Success.
we've got an organization called Halo. It stands for Healthy Alternative Living Organization. And our goal is to basically kind of do what Felicia was doing in her little example there of helping someone get a home. We want to purchase home, and we want to purchase multiple homes. Um, and we want to be able to house these young ladies that are coming out of foster care system that don't have anywhere to go, and provide them the skills and necessary training that they need to be successful. And give them hope, because that's what it's about, really. To give these young ladies hope and a chance. Give them a chance, and because that's all they really need. They really need someone to help them out and provide some hope for them, to make sure to say, you know what, someone does really care about me. They want to see me succeed, and they want me to be successful in my adulthood. Um, so so yeah, that's we're looking forward to it. It's a challenge. There's no doubt. There's a challenge. We would love to have a home to house every
Yeah,
person, not just the women. We would
yeah,
love to have a home to for all foster care kids
yeah,
that they fall into when they come out of the foster care system. Um, but and we're not looking, you know, initially we were looking kind of like as a starting this thing as and just keeping it local to Tampa.
Hmm.
But I talked to Tranette, and I said, look, why not, start it here in Tampa and develop a model that we can use in any city, um, and across the nation and across the world, um, to implement some type of program where, we do provide hope for others.
yeah.
And so that's what we're looking forward to doing.
So it's
Wow.
not only a shared, that it's not only a home, right? But it's actually the structure and the tools and
Right.
resources so that they can actually learn to make these, decisions and have the tools that they need so that they can, go beyond the need for the support that we would offer. They would become independent.
That's a great idea. I think that's awesome that you guys want to replicate this all over. I think one of the best things that we have learned here in this type of talks, and we'll go back, Wendy, is that like all of you guys are just like basically kind of filling the gap, right? Because there's a lot of because a lot of people think like, why isn't the government doing this? Like that's not our responsibility. The government should be doing this. And it's, I mean, they have a point. It's correct. Like the government should be doing a lot of those things, right? But if they're not doing it, are we just gonna sit there and just see the problem and not do anything? And you guys are just there and like, no, we need to fix this. We need to, help these girls. This is not okay. We can't have this. So I think that's amazing. If you want to take it nationwide, it would be an awesome idea for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We believe in what we're doing, and you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to have a passion for this type of work,
Right.
and you have to have a passion to help and want to help others. Because when you help others like this, especially young ladies or even the young gentlemen that are coming out of foster care system, they can be advocates for others,
Exactly.
and they can show others that are in the foster care system that look at me. Look, I was in a foster care system as well. I grew up, and look at me. Look how successful. I'm a manager of a bank, or I have my own business. I started my own business, and look at me thrive. And that's what we really want to instill in these individuals, that you know it's you can do as much as you want to do. And we're willing to we're giving you, the tools and the ideas and the knowledge to help you and assist you with whatever your career field that you've decided to go into, whether it be nursing or whether it be, medical field or financial industry, no matter what, whatever industry you would choose to go into or whatever your desires are, that you will be able to achieve those.
That's awesome. So we're actually ending a little bit off. I mean, we're at the end of our talk, but to anyone that's watching right now and that got inspired on doing more with all the things that you guys are doing, and wants to help you guys, how can they actually contact you?
So, Daniel, you can give them
Yep.
the information. Yeah.
She if they want to help, they can go to shehelpstoempower.me, to that website.
Okay.
So that shehelpstoempower.me, and there's a website, it has all the information on there about the organization, what we do, and there's links in there that they can show their support, and there's information on there that they can help out.
They can
And
also
you guys
go
are
to the
physically,
Facebook.
if somebody, let's say, close to you in the community wants to hook up, they want to go and see you. You guys are located in Tampa, right?
That's correct. We are in Tampa.
Okay, good. Okay, so for anybody in
So
Tampa, if you want to flow power to these amazing people, they are in Tampa, and the easiest way will be she
we
helps
can,
to empower.me, right?
yes, we can share the links. We can share the Facebook links. We can share social. We can also, probably follow on social to see like what's
That's
going
easy.
on within the
Yeah.
reading. Yeah, the amazing work that's been done. And
Mhm.
very often the events, the information on the events are also posted online. So going to an event hosted by She Helps to Empower is amazing. Fashion shows, events that they've had in Clearwater, at the Fort Harrison, and throughout Tampa. Also, just really fun place to be. Great to be a part of the community. Public and private partnerships come out. So I think it's awesome when the community really does stand together during this event and says, I see the need. I'm showing up for this. I'm learning more about what's happening, and I'm doing my part, because I think that even if you're going to an event and you're just, maybe it's your first time hearing about it, or your first time seeing human rights, right, in a booklet, and then you take it with you and now you know more, because
Right.
when you know better, you do better. So
Exactly.
anytime you can do that.
Exactly right.
That's right.
So I just want to, one thing that I want to mention, and just because I love to be connected with people that do. So the first thing is I want to validate you for what you do. It's not hard to see when something is off or when something needs a problem, right? So you can walk around and see the things you don't like, and anybody can do that. And then there are people who talk about it and then specialize to pointing out the problems, right? Oh, this is bad, and this is bad. But if you want to take it to the next level, there's those who actually do something about it. And that takes a special kind of person. That takes a special kind of people that can think beyond themselves, right? And you there with your own life, your own problems, and everything that is going on, you still take the time to go out and do what it takes to actually help another human being. And in your case, many of them. So, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for what you do. You guys are amazing. The world is better because you guys are in it. So I love what you do, and I'm sure we're going to be doing things together because obviously we have same mission, which is helping humans. So thank you.
Yep.
And then from
Thank
here, from
you.
Clearwater, which is not far from you
Thank
guys,
you.
I'll
Thank
give
you,
you
guys.
a little
Thank
clap, and I'm sure
you.
everybody else would from their place.
Okay.
All right.
Ciao.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
so
much.
much
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
here, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
one.
Thank you. And then, so we're going to be wrapping up with, let's just pull up the PowerPoint real quick. And we'll just end up with a quote. And it says, if we are to reach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with children. So that's exactly what they do. And if you think about it, they take them right when they need it the most, right? These
Yep.
kids are being, they've been cared for, but they need that connection to someone or something that can help them to just get on their lives, right? And take full control of their lives. And that's what they do. They help those children to get on their lives. So again,
And if you think about it, it's actually the start of their life, because like school is just school, but after they get out of school, that's when their life really starts. Like school's only 18 years, right? And they have a whole life ahead of them. Like
oh yeah,
if they don't even know what to do with that, they're probably going to end up, not helping even the society because they don't even know how to help themselves, So it's I think it's really valuable what they're actually
absolutely.
doing.
And like Sandra said, like you said, Sandra, is that particular group is very vulnerable to human trafficking. So
Yep.
it's very, very commendable in many, many ways. So let's wrap up with human right 29, which is responsibility. So what is it that they can do, Sandra? What can they do
Well,
to?
they can follow us, but not on this group because it's a Spanish group.
We'll have another group, an English group,
We can create
to
one for them.
protect human rights. So
But
we'll
yeah,
have
you can definitely follow United. So we have Human Rights Florida for all Florida, and then we have Human Rights Tampa because we're here in Tampa. So you can move to the next slide because that's in Spanish one.
Very good. So thank you so much for attending. And as always, a candle loses nothing for lighting another candle. So please do your part, share this with others, and if you can, contribute to the motion of educating human rights. And if you ever need help with that, we are here to help you. If you have an organization that deserves to be featured, would like to contact one of us through any of the channels, and then we'll love to talk to you about it. So,
and thank you so much to everybody that connected. We got a lot of messages. So it's I know that a lot of people had told us, hey, you have to do it in English. You have to do it in English. So hey, we're here. We're doing it in English. So there you go.
and the
And
pattern
we're
is going
going
to
to
be
continue to do them. So now, just so that you guys know, I'm going to take this out if you're watching. So we're going to do this English is going to be bi-weekly. So every other week, we're going to do it in English. And the week that we're not in English, we're going to do it in Spanish. So just
Spanish,
so you
English,
guys
Spanish,
are
English, Spanish, English.
Exactly.
Right.
So thank you so much for joining us. If you're English spoken, you're probably here. And if you're Spanish and you don't know the English, you can go to the next week.
Just skip 1 week.
One more week.
All right.
So we're definitely having more organizations like this. This has been awesome. Well, thank you so much, and
Thank you
have
so
a
much,
good day.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.